Good evening, Rams. Today's homework is multiplying and dividing integers. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what page it is in your journal because mine are not printed with the page numbers here, okay? So first thing, if we talk about these yellow circles, that means these are the positive integers. Right, yellow was positive. What I had, when I look at my multiplication, I look at groupings. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 groups of positive 8. Okay, so that multiplication problem becomes 4 times 8. That's just positives, okay? When I put this on a number line, it's a little different than adding. We don't have just different arrows. What we're going to do, if I'm multiplying 4 times 8, okay, I could say 4 jumps that are each plus 8 spaces. That's positive 8 spaces. Each one's going to be 8 spaces in the positive direction. So you always start at 0. And I'm going to go 8 spaces. So here is my 8. So I'm going to jump over to 8. And then I'm going to jump over 8 more. Puts me at 16. I'm going to jump 8 more. Puts me at 24. And then jump 8 more. Puts me at 32. And that is my answer. That's how you represent multiplication. It's really not that hard. Now, you could also write that. You could write it as 4 times 8 is 32. You could write it as 8 times 4 is 32. You could also write this as 32 divided by 4 is 8, and 32 divided by 8 is 4. Okay, these are all, remember, fact families from elementary. So if I look at it, I can look at how many jumps there are. That's one of your factors. The other factor is how big each jump is and the direction of it. Okay? It's pretty easy when it's positive. The negative ones might get a little trickier for you. Okay? This model, remember these red integer chips were negatives. So here we had 4 groups of negative 4. Because each group has 4 negative integers in it. Okay? 4 groups of negative 4. So again, right here, I'm going to say 4 jumps that are each, I'm going to say negative 4 spaces. What that means is 4 spaces in the negative direction. So I always start at 0, and I'm going to go negative 4, negative 4, negative 4, and I'm going to go over here one more past it to negative 16. So my equations would be 4 times negative 4 equals negative 16. I could switch those numbers, or I could say negative 16, negative 16 divided by 4 equals negative 4, or negative 16, there we go, divided by negative 4 equals positive 4. Okay? All right, and then just a little bit of practice with the models. The models are pretty simple. It's either jumps or groups. So we're not dealing with the same kind of arrows that we had with adding and subtracting. But this is the easiest thing, as long as you remember this picture. It's going to be tremendous help with multiplying and dividing. Now, this only works with multiplying and dividing. So I'm going to write that on here, okay? Multiplying and dividing only. Okay, that only works with multiplying and dividing. Now what we do, okay, we cover up the 2 things that we're multiplying or dividing. So if I have 2 negatives, right here, well, we'll start with this one. We all know that positive times positive, that's like 2 times 3. That's going to be a positive answer. Now, this is where it gets a lot of fun here. Positive times a negative. What I do is I cover up the 2 things that I have. I have a positive and I have a negative. And what's left over? Just a negative, so my answer is negative. Okay? Negative times a negative. I cover up these 2 negatives, and what do I have left over? positive. Okay, that's pretty simple. That's multiplying here. This also works with dividing. Okay, positive divided by positive. Well, that's what we've been doing for years. So we don't even have to write that one on here. Positive divided by positive is just positive. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, positive divided by a negative gives me a negative answer. Negative divided by a negative gives me a positive answer. I guess I could also say negative divided by a positive, but that would also give me a negative answer. Okay? So as long as you learn to use this triangle, and remember that it's 2 negatives and not 2 positives on there, then this is going to be a tremendous amount of help for you. Just be sure and use it, okay? All right, so good news. Tomorrow's Halloween. Yay! So what I'm going to offer you, okay, if 100% of my students come in and have this page completed and have this one with the work, okay, 12 problems, then we do not have homework on Halloween, okay? 100% of your class, okay? And just remember, what I would do, these are easy. Positive times a negative gives me negative, and then what's 6 times 3? 18. Okay, some of these you may actually have to do a little bit of work here. But remember, negative divided by negative is going to be positive. Negative times a positive will be negative. If you go there and just put your signs and then add your numbers, it makes it really easy. But it's 12 problems. Actually, only 11 left to do. If your whole class has those, when you return to class tomorrow, there will be no homework for Halloween, okay?